All right, guys. So today we're going to be covering the topic of retention. And so, specifically, what the first 30 days should look like for all of your new members. This works really well, even if you're a regular membership gym, if you're a training gym, or even if you have online clients. It works really, really well. I think people fail with programs because there's not a clear plan. And it makes sense because most businesses are focused on acquisition, even though albeit they do it a little bit poorly. Retention kind of gets pushed on the back burner. And I think if you're going to have a very successful business that you're able to sell or step away from, which is the goal that we have with all of our clients as gym owners, I think that your reoccurring revenue is going to be the most important piece of that. And with reoccurring revenue, your retention is the kingpin of all of that, right? So let's just say for, an entire year, you sign up 20 members a month and you lose none. That's great. Now, let's just say every month you sign up 20 and you lose 20. You're just not going to grow, right? And you can have really good acquisition numbers, 150 for regular membership, 20 for a training gym, right? But if you're losing that same amount, it's kind of like we got leaks in the bucket. And so early wins, what they do is they keep your members in it for the long haul. And so what I found is that the silent killer of gym or training memberships is just really the cost that's associated with it. And so we lose revenue from canceled memberships. We waste acquisition cost, meaning like if you sign somebody up and they leave the next month, you might be technically losing money on your ad spend. You miss referral opportunities, and most importantly, you damage your reputation in the community. And it's not like a damage like somebody's really upset. It's just a damage that they're not really going to talk about you, right? It's just waste. It's a waste. And so I think this, first 30 days is the most meaningful contact with our members, because if we don't do it right, they're just going to silently drift away. Because I feel like when there's no accountability, there's no celebration of progress, there's no course correction. I think, and this is just from my own experience owning my gym, even motivated clients can lose their momentum. And man, the minute that their momentum gets lost, you can bet 30 to 60 days later, they're going to cancel or their card's going to get shut off and you're never going to hear from them again. And I know if you're listening to this and you own a gym, you face that exact thing. And it's because you don't have a clear process on how to fix it. And so that's what we're going to cover today. So here's the 6-step process for the 30-day result system. And so basically, this is a 6-step system that builds loyalty through client results. And so the idea is that it's a framework that transforms your new member experience into long-term clients by creating simple things. We want to make sure that we have accountability. We want to make sure we're celebrating wins. And we want to make sure that we're maintaining a consistent engagement during that critical first month and beyond as well. So the first one we're going to look at here is when somebody signs up, you have to schedule their 30-day check-in right there. Now, does it need to be exactly 30 days? No. Could it be 25, 35? You kind of get the idea. Sometimes it's not going to work for their schedule or yours, but the important point is just make sure something gets on the calendar. What it does is it sets a very good expectation that you are invested into their success, and they understand that this is not just some transactional thing like they've been a part of before. It's an actual partnership. And so I think the most important reason people hire us as a gym or they hire us especially as a personal trainer is because they need accountability and they need support. If these people could do it on their own, they wouldn't be at your training gym, right? So having scheduled check-ins, what it does is it creates a psychological commitment. And so they're more likely to show up and put in the work when they know that somebody's watching. And so the key word there is just it helps them build some level of accountability within themselves and to somebody else. So that's step one. We want to make sure that we get it scheduled right away. Step two is you have to automate reminders. Like if you're signing up 40 training clients every single month and you're trying to manage on that on a Google Docs or on a notebook, it's going to be awful. It's going to take too much time. So automation removes the chance of forgetting, which is very, very important. And so people need these reminders 7 days before, 3 days before, 1 day before the morning of, because what it does is it removes the friction and it keeps the appointment top of mind for you and for the customer. And so just remember, people are super busy. Even motivated clients forget appointments, and the automated reminders just show that you're organized and professional and that it's top of mind and important to you. It also gives the client multiple opportunities to reschedule if needed, rather than just simply no showing the appointment, which I think is very important for keeping them in that feedback loop. Step three, I'm a big fan of weekly micro check ins. So, a micro check in could be something around like, how did your week go? How did your first few workouts feel? Any questions about the equipment? Hey, it was great seeing you at the gym 3 times this week. How's your energy level feeling? Just little things like that can kind of keep them engaged. And I think even small nudges help people stay in the game mentally. And so these micro check-ins, what they do is they show that you notice their effort and you care about their journey. And if you're really doing your business the right way, marketing and sales are super easy. This is the stuff that makes all the growth. It's like, because if you're willing to do something that your competitor's not willing to do, that can be of value to your customer, you're going to win in that marketplace 10 out of 10 times. And so these micro check-ins are just a small example of that. They're beautiful. And so step number four is we want to make sure that we're responsive. So engagement breeds retention. So as we say, if we let things sit, a response, a conversation, ultimately what ends up happening is the customer's going to get frustrated, as they should, right? I think that as leaders of the community, we have to be the ones that are driving accountability, and we're really setting the standard. So if like people are reaching out to you and you're unresponsive, I just think it sets a really bad example. It's like, do they even care about my progress? So either you or a team member has to be in here. The goal is we want to make sure that we're aiming to respond within 2 hours during business hours, and then 24 hours maximum for any messages. And so, in my experience, I think our or my responsiveness directly correlates with their commitment level. That's a very, very big thing. The more we can stay on top of them, and the more that we can stay engaged with them, the more we're going to push more, not all, more of our customers to the finish line with their goals. And I'm telling you, if these people feel the way that they wanted to feel when they came in, and they see the results that they were looking for, they're not going to go anywhere. I just think we don't keep it in front of them well enough, right? And so step number five. So how do you have this 30-day results session? Like, how is it organized? So the big idea with this is we want to make sure that we're reassessing, celebrating, and resetting goals with them. And so I'm a big fan of the InBody. I know there's probably people listening to this that will, think it's not the best technology. Maybe a DEXA scan's better, or a hydrostatic weigh tank is better. I don't disagree with any of that. What I really think is important is you want to have something that is commercial friendly. Like, nobody's going to come into your gym, especially for me. Like, I'm a big guy. There's not going to be too many older women that are going to come in and take their clothes off and let me pinch them after not meeting with me. I wouldn't feel comfortable with that, and neither would they. Maybe there's some of you that do that and are comfortable with it. It's not my speed. So I like the InBody, because what it does is it's a very easy tool that they can use. It can get their weight, their muscle mass, their body fat mass. It just gives us tangible data to coach off of. And so I love doing that. That's what we start with. Once we kind of go through the InBody, we show them where things are at relative to where they were. You still want to ask key questions around biofeedback. So something like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how have your workouts been going? Oh, they've been a 0. I haven't been attending them. All right, that opens up a conversation, right? How's your sleep quality been? Oh, you know what? I've been really hungry late at night. I just feel like I'm ravenous at night. We can get into a conversation around how their nutrition's going, right? You can kind of see how this filters. Biggest thing that we want to look for, though, is, what's their biggest challenge and what's been their biggest win. So say you get somebody that says, my biggest challenge is that I'm really hungry late at night and I'm just not sleeping because of it. Well, okay, we can come up with a solution. So based off that progress and their feedback, we want to make sure that we're establishing clear, achievable goals for the next 30 days. And we want to make them specific and measurable. So as an example, if somebody says, I'm currently 160 and I want to get to 156, that's a pound of body fat lost per week. That would be the specific and measurable target. We want to see 4 pounds of body fat lost. Right now, your body fat mass is at 80. We want to see it at 76. And here's how we're going to do that. How do you think we can do that? Right? Have conversation with them. Well, most people know what they need to be doing. They're almost just looking for permission and accountability to do it. And then you have people that don't know what they're doing, and we could step in and educate. But that's really the point of all this is you're thinking of it like a funnel where you sign people up, they come in at the top. Our job is to move as many of those people up at the top down into loyal members that achieve results with our product or service. If we're not thinking that way, we're just as bad as some of these clubs that just rip people off. And I think if you got into this industry, yeah, you want to make money, but at the same time, you want to put a really good product and service out there as well. And so, step 6. We want to make sure that we book the next 30 days. So you schedule this immediately with them. I think that momentum compounds, and the cycle of accountability and celebration is what creates long-term success. And if they're having long-term success, it just builds lifelong members. And so I think the more that I go through coaching businesses, most gym owners, if they're struggling with one problem, they're struggling with a lot of them. And so most people that we talk to, they come to us for marketing, sales, retention training. And what I always tell them is we want to work backwards because there's no point in bringing in more leads, more sales into a broken system where it's like fishing with a hole in the net. Yeah, you're going to sign 40 people up, but you're going to lose 40. That's not what we want. And so the first pillar that I encourage every business to look at is what their onboarding process looks like of new members or new training members. What does that first 90 days look like? And the biggest reason I want to look at that is because if you can fortify that, then when we bring some new leads, new sales in, that's how we grow the revenue of a business. And so most gym owners, what they want is they want to grow the revenue of their business. And when you think about it, there's two reasons as to why. They want to have an asset they can sell, or they want to have an asset that will operate outside of them where they can hire a team to be able to do this. The only way that that's going to work is if we have good reoccurring revenue every month and there's predictability. Well, the retention is the lifeblood of that reoccurring revenue. Okay. Just remember that it's easier to keep a member than it is to acquire a new one. Okay. And the 30-day results system that we just covered, it's not just about preventing cancellations. It's about creating raving fans that refer their friends, that renew their memberships, and that become a part of your gym's community. And so every retained member, it represents reoccurring revenue, it represents reduced marketing costs, and it represents a stronger reputation in your market. And so in my book, the Gym Growth Playbook, how to build a gym you can step away from or sell for maximum value, I have 2 chapters that are dedicated specifically to this. Chapters number 4 and 5. They go deep on onboarding and retention systems, as well as member engagement tactics and proving strategies that'll help you build your fitness business. And when I talk about build it, we're not just talking about front end cash collected. We're talking about building the reoccurring revenue because, again, retention equals reoccurring revenue. And if we do that right, now we have an asset or a system that we can sell or step away from. So if you're interested in checking out those 2 chapters, I want you to download the Gym Growth Playbook. You'll see a link in the descriptions here below.